If you want to be in business, you have to know how to market yourself and you have to know how to do it well. A lot of people think that a good product is all that matters, that if you build a good product, then people will come on their own. This is not true. A lot of companies have an incredible success just due to their marketing strategies. Apple and Nike are notable examples. Using effective marketing, you can anchor your product in your customer's mind and then turn them into loyal fans. That's all business really is at the end of the day, understanding people's psychology. Ries and Jack Trout have over 40 years of marketing expertise, and using all the knowledge they had at their disposal, they created these 22 laws of marketing that have stood the test of time. It is imperative that you know these laws if you're in business. So let's begin. Law number 1, law of leadership. Being the first in the market is better than having a better product than a competitor. When you're the first company in a particular market, you get to set the rules. This is far better than having to play by someone else's rules and not matching up to their standard. Nobody remembers who was the second brand to do anything. People remember the first man on the moon, the first president of the country, and the same way, they'll remember the first brand in a market. Law 2, law of category. It's very hard to gain leadership in a category where competition already exists. It's better to create a product in a new category than trying to attack existing categories. Category doesn't have to be radically different. For example, if you cannot be the first one to make a video camera, you can make a sports camera like GoPro did. If you can't be the first photo sharing app, be the first photo sharing app where you can add filters like Instagram. Law 3, law of the mind. It is not important to be the first in the market, but it is to be the first in the consumer's mind. This is key, and in a way, this can allow you to overcome some of your flaws. If you're able to insert yourself in the minds of the customers before anyone else does, then for all intents and purposes, you were the first. Public perception is everything in marketing, and you need to know how to get in the minds of people before anyone else. Law 4, law of perception. Marketing is not about products, but about perceptions. Reality doesn't exist. What we call reality is just a perception of reality that we create in our minds. Now I know some people might disagree with this, but in my opinion, this is the reason why Apple has been so successful. Sometimes their hardware doesn't match up to other computers of the same price range, but because there is a perception of quality in the people's minds, they're going to convince themselves that the product is actually superior. Now of course, if the product is very bad, then no amount of marketing will be able to cover that. But if the product is just good enough and you're able to convince people that it is actually superior to all the other products, then people are going to buy it. This is why it's so important to have an effective marketing along with a good product. Law 5, law of focus. The most powerful concept in marketing is owning a word in the prospect's mind. Which company will you think about when I tell you to search something on the internet? Google. And you see, that is the power of focus. Google has been so focused on the word search from the beginning that now whenever you think of search, you think of Google. If your business is able to capture a word the same way that Google has captured search, then your marketing has been successful. Now of course, it's not easy to do this right off the bat, but if you're able to capture one word in the people's minds, you're going to make billions. Law 6, law of exclusivity. This is related to the previous law. Two companies cannot own the same word in people's mind. So if you're trying to go after a word that is already taken, don't even bother. Come up with your own word and market your products for that. Law 7, law of the ladder. Marketing strategy depends on your position in the market. If you're number 2, use a different strategy than when you're number 1 or number 3. For example, the rental car company, Avis, was number 2 in car rental, and when they advertised as finest in rent-a-cars, they had losses because their marketing was incredible, because everybody knows they were number 2. Then, in a genius marketing move, they switched to Avis is only number 2 in rent-a-cars, so why not go with us? We try harder. And they raked in a lot of profits. Law 8, law of duality. In the long run, every market becomes a two-horse race. McDonald's and Burger King, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, Nike and Reebok, Crest and Colgate. So you don't have to worry if you're not number 1. You can be the number 2 because people are going to be looking for other options. Law 9, law of opposite. If you're shooting for second place, then your strategy is determined by the leader. Leverage the leader's strength into a weakness. Don't try to be better than the leader, try to be different. For example, Pepsi marketed itself as a choice for the new generation when faced with Coca-Cola's old and established brand. Law of division. Over time, a category will divide and become two or more categories. For example, computers started as a single category but broke up into mainframes, workstations, personal computers, laptops, etc. Cars started as a single category but divided into luxury cars, sports cars, etc. Law 11. Law of perspective. Marketing effects take place over an extended period of time. It's a mistake to sacrifice long-term planning with actions to improve short-term balance sheets. For example, sales increase short-term profits but in long-term educates people not to buy for regular price, therefore decreasing long-term profits. Law of extension. There is an irresistible pressure to extend the equity of a brand and it's a mistake. Instead, one should create new brands to address new markets. You must have seen that many brands try to come out with different products trying to capitalize on the reputation of the first product. According to the authors, this is a mistake. Law of sacrifice. You have to give up something in order to get something. The law of sacrifice is the opposite of the law of line extension. If you want to be successful today, you have to give up something. There are 3 things that you might have to sacrifice: product line, target market, and constant change. The main idea is to focus on one thing and sacrifice the rest. Law of attributes. For every attribute, there is an opposite and effective attribute. You cannot own the same word as the competition. You have to find another word to own, another attribute. So once Domino's Pizza owns the attribute 30 minutes or less, that same attribute is not going to work for you. Law of candor. When you admit a negative, the prospect will give you a positive. Candor is disarming. It's okay to admit to your mistake, like Avis did, that Avis is only number 2 in rent-a-cars. This makes your company seem more human and more people are able to relate it more easily. Law of singularity. In each situation, only one move will produce substantial results. People tend to think that success is the result of a lot of small effort well executed, that working harder is the way to success. In marketing, only thing that works is a single, bold stroke. Law of predictability. Unless you write your competition's plans, you can't predict the future. You don't know the future, you don't know what your competition will do. So you have to build a company and marketing strategies that are flexible so that you can respond quickly to changes. Law of success. Success often leads to arrogance and arrogance leads to failure. Don't be arrogant, drop the ego and be objective. Your ego can blind you and can prevent you from seeing things the way they are. Companies fail because of this all the time. They think they're too big to be defeated and someone comes along and eventually beats them. Law of failure. Failure is to be expected and accepted. Drop things that don't work instead of trying to fix them. Don't punish people who work for you for failures. If you do this, then people will stop taking risks. Failure is just a part of growing a business. Learn to expect it and manage it effectively. Law of hype. The situation is often the opposite of the way it appears in the press. The amount of hype isn't proportional to success. Often failed products are heavily hyped. So whenever the media hypes something up, it is not necessary that it will be a winner. Law of acceleration. Successful programs are not built on fads but on trends. Recently, the fidget spinners have been seen everywhere. Everyone wants to get one of these, and a few people have made a lot of money selling these. But this is just a fad. It is not a trend. If you hear about another social media app that may go viral, it may or may not be a fad, but you have to learn how to spot a trend. People are spending a lot of time on their phones communicating with each other. That is a trend that you can build a business around. Law of resources. Without adequate funding, an idea won't get off the ground. You need a lot of money to market your ideas. Now, I would like to add that this doesn't mean that if you don't have money, you cannot market at all. All it means is that whoever had the most money will have the easiest time. So just before we end the video, I'd like to mention that this book was written in 1993, way before the age of the internet or social media. Nowadays, models on Instagram get paid millions of dollars just for posting one photo to their millions of followers. We have entered a new age of influencer marketing, and there is a lot that the author of this book did not anticipate. But that doesn't mean that these laws still don't work, because many of them still apply. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be uploading daily for the next 1 month on this channel. So please click the bell icon so you don't miss anything. That's all for this video. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, then please click the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.